All right, we are going to try our first Facebook dual live screen for episode 3. So if you come on in here, just wait a minute. Our guest, Megan Hibar, is going to be coming in. And then once we get settled, we will be starting the podcast today. Hi, Victoria. Good to see you. We are just getting set up for episode 3 today. So give us a little bit of time before Megan gets in here. AD, good to see you guys. We're just waiting for our guests to join us, and we will get going. Okay, looks like we got people joining in. We are still waiting for our guests to join in here. We're doing our first ever dual live stream, so that's something pretty cool. I see Megan just joined in, so let me make sure she gets joined in. What's up, D? It's good to see you, buddy. Okay, so we're adding in Megan now, so we should be able to start the podcast episode 3 here in just a minute. We're trying something a little bit different today, so bear with us.
Is it working?
Hey, what's up, Megan?
Hello. I'm like super distorted on here.
Nope, you're fine. You're coming in. It's just once it starts moving, it gets that way a little bit. Let me get the volume up on everything here. Since we're trying something a little bit different, I appreciate your patience. Sincerely, I do.
Okay.
And give me just a minute here and we'll get going.
All right.
Okay, record. All right. So I'm going to take about 5 seconds here, even though we got people watching. Victoria, the subject today is what it is every day. It's someone's now or never moment, and when she chose now over never. So if you guys bear with us, we are starting the recording here. I'm going to do about 5 seconds of silence, and then we will intro. Buongiorno, everyone. Episode 3, the Now Over Never podcast. I am your host, Michael Blackwell. And I don't think there's a better way to introduce ourselves than allowing someone to introduce themselves. So today our guest is Megan Hibar. Megan, would you like to introduce yourself?
So hi, I am Megan Hibar. I am a mom of soon to be 3, and I live in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, and run a digital marketing business.
Hey, congratulations on the 3rd one coming.
Thanks. She's
When are you
popping out there.
When are you due?
October.
That's awesome. Congrats. Do you have a name yet?
No.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
She might not get named until she's here.
That's the way it is sometimes. Sometimes
Yeah.
you have a fantastic nurse that takes over the name sometimes too, so we never know.
Yeah.
But let's dig right in. It doesn't have to be narrowed to one specific, but let's start with something that you think is a moment in your life where you were faced with now or never, and you decided it was time.
So the biggest moment that stands out in my life, I was pregnant with my now 2nd child, Cage, and while I was pregnant with him, it was actually kind of rough. Both of my grandfathers passed away during the course of the pregnancy. One 2 days after Christmas, when I was 5 months pregnant, and then the other one who had raised me my entire life. Like I lived with him from day one. He was the person I most admired in the entire world. And he was diagnosed with leukemia, put on hospice, and 2 weeks later he was gone. And that was in February.
Okay.
And so I got to have one of those moments where I sat down with this does not happen to everybody. Sit
No.
down with the person you most admire in the world on their deathbed. And I'm like, what do you regret most in your life?
Oh, wow.
And he said to me, I regret spending so many hours a week at work when I could have been at home. I was providing for everyone the way that I thought I was supposed to by paying the bills, doing the house, all of that stuff. And he said, my biggest regret is I wish I would have spent more time with everyone. And at that time, I was pregnant. I was working in the mental health field. I was driving over an hour one way to work to get to where I needed to be.
A lot of stress.
Yeah, it was tons of stress. I was making nothing. And I had, with my first child, I missed his first words, I missed his first steps, I missed all of that because I was going to school full time and working full time. And I'm like, you know what? I can't do that again with another baby. You know, my first was turning 5. So I still had a lot of stuff that I needed to be there for him for his first day of kindergarten, all of that stuff, first loose tooth, everything. And I had another baby coming, and I'm like, okay, this is it. So I decided I was going to do whatever it takes to find a way to work online from home so I could be there with my kids while they're growing up. So that was my kind of now or never moment.
Yeah, I mean, especially with both of I imagine the patriarchs of both families, you know, in the hospital at the same time, going through that pregnancy, you know, already
Yeah.
having the emotions and hormones from that alone, from what I
Yeah.
hear, you know, and then add on the 2 hours of driving without traffic every day. That just sounds like, you know, just that's a hell of a lot to handle.
Yeah.
So it was like, am I going to let all of this sink me, or am I just going to step up and fucking do this? And it sounds like you decided to, you know, now was the time.
Yeah.
What, and I imagine that's really hard, and there's a lot of questions. What was something you found to help you along that path of, you know, this is something completely new. It's not like, hey, I got a blueprint. I know I need to follow step by step. This was, hey, I know I need a change. I need something different. What did you find was a big help for you to get there?
Honestly, I had to spend a lot of time learning by figuring out what not to do. So my first foray into working online, I bought into this was a totally different program than what I met you through, but I had bought into a program that was a complete and total scam.
Okay.
And I had used a student like grant that I was getting to pay my college bills to
Okay.
pay for the program. And I'm like, oh my God. So I
Expecting for it to pay for itself, you know, expecting to make that money
exactly.
back.
Yeah, I wasted $3,000.
Oh
But
man.
it was such a scam that the Attorney General's office ended up cracking down on it, and I got my money back.
No joke.
Um,
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
rare.
and then bought into job killing.
Yeah, that's JK, JK, JK,
Yeah,
literally.
JJ. But
So what
I
is, so for you, sorry.
no, keep going.
I was going to ask, so for you, it was, you knew that the way for you to get time was perhaps an online job, and then you
Yeah,
just started researching different ways to make money online, and then you just found what you didn't want to do, found things that might be fun, and then invested in it. So really, it was a lot of your own effort. It was you taking, you know, taking the stand with that energy you had. Okay.
yeah. So learned a lot of hard lessons, learned lessons the hard way, and kind of what I shouldn't be doing. And then I started finding like ethical job boards where people were posting remote positions, and then I kind of fell in line underneath some of the people that I noticed who were selling courses and programs to learn how to do this, but I actually was meeting a lot of people who had taken them, so I learned that they were ethical. And you know what, there is ways to learn how to do this where you're not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars
Right.
and you're actually getting a return on that investment. So I started learning from people like Ryan Dice and Frank Kern and all of that
The big
stuff, and
guns.
realized, yeah, I absolutely loved the world of digital marketing. I loved learning that you can help people who are small businesses post on their social media and teach them how to do it properly and actually make money that way. So that was kind of where I fell into line, I guess.
Yeah, that was a big kind of moment for me as well. Let me hold on, I got a sound thing here. Give me just a second.
But
Sorry about that. I had a line going off there.
oh,
When you think you mute everything and you don't. Um, it's funny because a lot of people think, well, there's this market's saturated. There are a lot of people doing it, but when you think about it, how many people like my parents are 65. My grandma's 98. You know, there's a lot of older people out there, and who do you think are running most of these businesses? Are the people that we're actually teaching how to use their, you know, their phones and their laptops. So it's not like you're doing something that's not needed, but you're also doing a tremendous help to these people and bringing them into the age of technology and just kind of showing them a whole new skill set, not only for their business, but for connecting to family. So
Yeah,
um,
it's been great.
that's, and I found with you, it seems like you've been doing really well with empowering women in that field because it seems like, well, I know from my I've been doing this, I've been in the field of tech and web for 20 years. What I found is a lot of the women get pushed out from the normal talk, the normal glass ceiling crap, but also just the mentality of most of the people. So
Yeah.
I loved what I've seen. I haven't gotten totally in depth because I'm not allowed to be a member, I think, because it might be women only. But what have you seen in that world with women trying to rise up in this specific niche and just maybe even in general in the workforce?
Um, well, I mean, first of all, I don't just do women. Like I definitely allow men in. Um, but I have noticed that it is a very male dominated industry. I've noticed that especially if you're a younger female, they tend to not take you seriously at all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, and I even it's so strange. Even local female business owners prefer to speak to males because it's a tech industry. And I think even though I'm not doing tech, I am teaching you how to. I'm teaching you the proper ways to post on, you know, Facebook, however often you need to post properly to address your audience, you know, look at your stats to figure out what times your audience is engaging, that type of thing.
Make it worth your time. Yeah, work smarter, not harder.
Exactly, exactly. And I think a lot of people, because it is viewed, you've got a lot of math, heavy math with statistics and data that you have to analyze, and a lot of tech heavy stuff. It's still kind of viewed as like a male thing. And when you think, sit down right now and name like the top 5 people in this industry, it's all males that come to mind. It's
Yeah.
only afterward that you think, oh yeah, you've got like Amy Porterfield doing this or Julie Stowen that's doing this, that type of
That's
thing.
no, you hit the nail on the head because when you said
Yeah.
that, I was like, Frank, I was going through the list of guys. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so even though Amy Porterfield is just as big as, you know, Frank Kern and Mike Dillard and all of them, is she still lower on the list because people just it doesn't come to mind.
Right. There was I lived in Florida for a little while, and when I worked for a web development company down there, I was doing my business on the side, but moving to a new place, I took on this full-time developer job. They would only hire females for phone calls for reception. And they said when people call in, and if there's, you know, resolution dispute or whatever, we want them talking to a woman, but they don't want them talking to you. I was like, okay, do you hire any developers, any coders, and graphic designers? You know, we have a lot of positions here. Sale. Nope. It was reception and sales. Sorry, so I was wrong. There was those two, but it's kind of funny. It's almost hard to do it, but then I never would have guessed female business owners having that same kind of stigma as well.
A really good friend of mine who is an absolute genius. She is one of the top strategists I have ever spoken to in my life. Like my mind is blown every time I talk to her and she comes up with an idea. She was working on, she said she couldn't connect with a large group of people. Like she could, like a large segment of the audience that she wanted to reach just wasn't connecting with her. So she was working on her imaging, and the first thing that was said to her by another female business owner who was helping her with her branding is, "You're just too pretty for this."
Shut up, really?
Yeah. And that is a huge thing. I have a very feminine branding because I'm a very girly girl. I love, as you can tell behind me, I love pinks and florals and all of that stuff. And there are men who just do not take any of my messaging seriously because I have a pink floral background.
Right, right. Dang. I mean, at least the girl got transparent truth out of it, but damn, like that's what you're going to
Yeah.
go with is you're too
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah.
I would almost think that would be her advantage is, okay, well, you don't have to do a lot of, just brand yourself as the SEO chick, you know? And that's where most people would say.
Yeah,
Wow. I had a question that I just forgot because that's just not I never would have guessed that.
yeah.
That sucks.
It sucks because she's blonde hair, blue eyed, standing there, and she's very well put together. She is beyond brilliant, but some people just flat out do not take her seriously because she's pretty. Just like a lot of people do not take me seriously because I've got flowers and pretty graphics in my blog posts. I can tell you start to finish how to create a beautiful digital marketing plan for your small business that you've never had online before, but
Yeah, but that might be escaped because they might not even get to that conversation before how
exactly.
pretty you are or how floral you are.
Yeah.
Hmm. So what do you have any suggestions on how one might be able to get around those, or have you found any methods that have been working for you when someone like objections, hey, I don't, you got too much floral stuff. Like, are you really going to be able to pull me results?
Yeah,
How do you handle that?
I pull stats. I I put
That's where it's
I
at.
have to do screenshots of my stats in my blog posts more often than I've noticed, other thought leaders in my industry needing to do,
Of
simply
course.
because it's one thing to say, well, I'm not going to take you seriously because you've got so much pink going on here. But when you sit down and look at, okay, so she started her Pinterest marketing in January with 0 views coming to her website from Pinterest and all organic traffic. We're looking at 500-600 views a month now coming
Wow.
in just from Pinterest. No paid advertisements whatsoever on Pinterest. I should probably start taking that seriously.
Let me interrupt you, unless that was the end there. For anyone that doesn't know the industry that we're in, that's amazing to be getting statistics like that from something like Pinterest, because I don't even dabble in Pinterest. And so, because I don't think it's worth my time. So, I mean, doing something like this with you and then getting the statistics, the proof of concept and all that, that just goes into a whole nother bag of worms there, can of worms, whatever. You have to prove yourself more often than some of these other people. Do you believe it's 100% because you're a woman and the floral designs behind you?
I think, yeah, I think a lot of it definitely I
I
would
would
say is
agree.
about 99% of it. There's a lot of it because people are also going to be just doubtful of this industry as a whole.
Right. Been burned a
Um,
lot.
yeah, burned a lot. The exact same thing that I went through. You spend a ton of money, you think it's going to work, and it's not actually going to work because you're buying into a scam. So I have to prove that A, I know what I'm talking about because I'm not a scammer. B, I know what I'm talking about even though I'm a woman and I like pink.
Two things that shouldn't have to do anything with you hiring you for what you're good at, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, well, if you don't mind me touching a little bit on all of the shit you had on your shoulders when what started all of this, being pregnant with your second kid, both grandfathers passing away during the pregnancy, and then the ridiculous drive, all of that stuff on top of normal, relationship, good and downs, ups and downs with the kids and everything, just life. What, there's a lot of people that I hope are watching or listening, probably in the same situation. So would you be able to give them some steps and some you're not alone encouragement of what they could do, maybe if whether they're the husband or the wife, if they're pregnant and they're in a situation where it just feels like the weight of the world is on them? Do you have some tips and advice for how they could breathe and how they might be able to thrive from that?
I would first kind of sit down and take an assessment of, this is not where you want to be. So figure out exactly where it is that you want to be. This is going to sound super cliche and like whatever, but kind of picture what is your ideal day looking like? Are you waking up and you're driving your children to school? You have the freedom where, hey, the PTA is having a meeting tonight, and oh, by the way, we need someone to head up, raffle baskets for this next event we're having at the school, and you have time to do that, but you're also making enough money to just keep a roof over your head.
Right.
I think there are a lot of people who look at working online and starting their own business and they're like, well, I've got a dream of, I don't want to be the person who's jet setting all over the world. I just want to make enough money to keep my current house that I have and maybe buy a brand new minivan.
Right,
So,
right.
so kind of think about that and then take a look around and see, okay, what is it that I enjoy doing? If you enjoy crafting, if you're the type of person who loves diving into statistics, then look at, okay, I like statistics. I like being online. I'm on Facebook all day. It's just my personal profile, but I've got tons of people who follow me. I'm really good at Instagram, even without trying that type of thing. Then look at it and say, okay, what is it that I'm actually doing that's working? Can I teach this to someone, or can I do that for them?
Great. No, that's perfect because my friend Sarah just joined and she's actually pregnant right now. Congratulations, Sarah. Our guest is also pregnant with her third. I think Sarah's second. But that's kind of funny because I hope this is relatable to someone like that. It's simple as what are my short-term and long-term goals? But let's be realistic. What am I happy doing? What's my passion? And what are the steps it takes to get there? So it sounds like for you, did you actually have like a marker board or somewhere that you wrote things down, or did you just you knew that this is what I want and you kept going after it? What was kind of your strategy of approach?
I actually kind of created 3 separate Pinterest boards for it. That's secret, only I can view them.
Okay.
So I have a short-term vision board, and that one is constantly evolving because once I hit a goal, I take it off and add another goal. And then I have kind of like a midterm. What do I want to do and what do I want in 5 years? What am I working towards in the next 5 years?
Fantastic.
And what's cool is I can kind of adjust that a little bit now because one of them was baby. So it's not just business, it's personal. And then I have a long-term goal. What is it that I want in my life specifically in 10 years? And then so do I look at that and I think, okay, I do my long-term board first, my 10-year goal first. Okay. And then I think, what do I need to have accomplished in 5 years so I can be to the halfway point to that 10-year goal? And then what do I need to be doing every 2 to 3 months to work toward that 5-year goal, which will get me to that 10-year goal?
So you work, it's almost in a way, most people work for the short term, thinking it'll get them to the long term, and you're working it backwards. That's smart.
Yeah, so it's kind of, I'm a giant sales funnel fan. That's what I initially. So it's kind of like reverse engineering a sales funnel. You start at what is my big product that I want someone to purchase? What are the next logical steps to get them to that point?
I love that. I wish I could like thumbs up my video. You know how the little hearts fly? I wish I could heart that because that's a genius statement. And anyone listening, I really hope you replay that back because that is what something you're really good at. And one of your many talents online is our sales funnels. Would be sales funnels. So I never thought about that with goal approaching though, because we all have our long-term goal, whether it be a Lambo or a house or just kids or happiness. I never thought about approaching it from the sale first. So you're kind of tricking me here with my mindset of where I'm at. So I hope I can utilize that for some of my now or never moments in the future. But
yeah, it's really, really helped.
And I imagine all of that, especially planning this out and having this you made your own blueprint.
Yeah.
I imagine that has helped your time management, ergo also your stress.
Yeah.
How have you seen that reflect? Have you seen just more time because you're not as scatterbrained, or like how has that helped you kind of? Not saying you're scatterbrained. I'm going off my own thing. When I don't put things down on paper, I'm like, okay, what do I do? Oh, going through the Rolodex,
That's it. That's how I am a lot, especially because I have young children. Who are involved in anything and everything under the sun. So what I did was I realized, okay, one of my short-term goals is I know that I want to increase the organic traffic to my website. In order to do that, the best way to do it is to add 16 pieces of content each month. That'll increase my traffic by 175% according to HubSpot and Digital Marketer. So
that's a good reference.
Yeah.
They have good numbers.
They have amazing numbers. So I'm like, okay, I know it takes me this long to sit down and write down a blog post. How can I effectively do this in such a way where I'm not spending that much time creating pieces of content? Because I don't want to work 10 hours a day every single day just to bring in organic content or organic traffic to my website. So I reached out to some people that I knew who were epic at batching content. Okay. And I was like, normally I would not invest in something like this. I would not pay attention to it. I would just keep going and tweak my own system until I got there. It then made me realize I need your help. I need you to show me how you batch your content and create so many videos and so many blog posts each month so I can then replicate that in my own system. So I have replicated the batching system, worked it into my own content planning, and now I'm able to effectively, in 10 hours in 1 month, put out 16 pieces of $1,500 to $2,500 word blog posts with graphics.
That's insane. So it's so leaning on the help of others and also finding processes together. So that's kind of been the theme I've been finding through these, is that once people reach out for help, once they know where they're going, reaching out for help has helped them go. But it's been that motivation of, it's fucking time. Here's the blueprint, and then who can help and how can I help in reverse. So that's to be able to crank that out, because you don't want to be sitting all day just writing content out and trying to be creative and forcing, what is going to get people in, what's valuable content. So I could see why you would want to do that.
That's been a game changer. And then also realizing that, you know what, I can do this process inside of my business. Like right now, I know how to connect my membership hub to my active campaign in such a way that they talk to each other, and someone viewing my teaser content for my higher paid courses and programs can get, emails reminding them about it. And then also, hey, I saw you viewed this 3 times. Here's a 25% off coupon.
Oh, wow.
I know how to connect that. The thing is it'll take me all day to do so. So I've learned, okay, you know what? Why don't I hire someone to do it while I write the email content for it? That kind of thing. Recognizing that while I know how to do this, it's more beneficial for me to have someone else do it.
Valid. That's fantastic. So it's really helps systematize, putting processes together and then bringing others on board, teaching them your quality and your route, and then process sheets from there, basically.
Yeah.
Which I find a lot of business owners don't have process sheets. They don't, even for like, let's say you work at a restaurant and you have servers, and maybe one of them keeps forgetting to roll the silverware the right way. It's a simple process sheet. Hey, just go check the checklist and go back through it. And most business owners don't have that for their current things. This podcast, I've got a checklist of what I have to do. Turn on the amp box, record, plug in. It's amazing to me how many business owners don't have that. And just from talking to you, how much time that alone has created. But then taking it a step further, educating, growing, scaling your business, starting to outsource and or hire from that. It seems like, sorry, I just read a Lambo house from D on the comments there. It threw me. So it sounds like with you, it's just been about sheer determination. Just it's time to be a badass, for lack of better words.
And there are times where I'm like, you know what, right now, my business isn't moving the way that I need it to. Let me check, Work at Home Mom Revolution. Let me check Indeed, whatever, and try to see, is someone hiring for, let's say, a marketing intern for their business or something, just some short term, 3 to 6 months, here's some cash to put back into my business to make it flow type of thing. Right. And kind of loosen the belt a little bit, that kind of thing. So, and sometimes people will tell you, well, that's taking you off the path to your dream. And I'm realizing that no, it's another way for me to hit a short-term thing that's still taking me to that long-term goal.
Right. Do you have any, whether they're female specific or just entrepreneurial specific, whatever, do you have any groups or places of support that you would recommend to any listeners, and places that have helped you? Because I know just getting the energy to do something is enough, but you always have those down moments where you just need a little fire under your ass. Are there any places you recommend to go to get that spark?
I really enjoy following Julie Stowen.
Okay, first I've heard of her.
Yeah, she's very brilliant. She's one that I follow heavily. She kind of reminds me of me and where I want to go. She, sheer determination, was at the lowest point of her life and took out her laptop and figured out how to work from that. And then grew to the point where she did an 18-month-long stint as the VP of marketing for ClickFunnels, the company.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And she recently left there, and she's been very open and transparent about her entire journey, and how she got to where she is, how she went from literally nothing to now making a couple $100,000 a month to
Fantastic.
being the VP of marketing of ClickFunnels, and then deciding this was pulling her in too many different directions and taking time away from what she wanted to be and stepping down from that role and all of that stuff. So she's really good for kind of the mindset of the, you know what, sometimes our journey looks like this, and this is how we try to get back on track.
Awesome. And her name again, Julie
Julie Stoen.
Stone. All right, cool. How do you spell her last name?
Oh Lord, Stoian or AIN?
I just wanted something close because I've never Stoen. Oh, how do you spell that?
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. Especially, I mean, as big as ClickFunnels is, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it really was awesome to watch that, because when she would do things like a live broadcast with Russell, he made sure to give her equal footing, and it kind of helped elevate a little bit. You know, you could see a lot of women commenting, "Hey, this is cool. I've never seen women in this type of position before." You have, you just it's not visible.
They don't ever give them the limelight. And that's actually, and I didn't really want to tote this as a public thing. I wanted it to be mine, but now that you said that, I'm going to say it anyways. I really am pushing with this podcast for equality. And I want, it's going to be every other episode is going to be male, female, or there's going to be equal to both. Because of that, I find a lot of my female friends are just kicking ass in what they're doing, and they just don't have a platform and or will never get the limelight because someone else will be thrown in front. So it's cool that we didn't pre-discuss anything of what we were going to talk about other than just your now over never moment. But I love that you hit kind of everywhere that I was hoping this would go with, just women not getting the respect and the limelight they deserve, but how much they are out there in full force, leading ways with Russell Branson and ClickFunnels even, and gosh, it tells you a lot that she was basically down to nothing, builds it up to being VP of ClickFunnels, and then she's just like, okay, too much. That's someone who has a great rap on what they want and where they want to go. So that's definitely somebody I would want to check into following and see what she's about. That's beautiful.
Yeah. She works hard, she's a hustler, and she gets it done with her kids at home with her.
Really beautiful. Yeah. So now that you got the third one on the way, what's your next step? What's your next goal? Or what's happening with you when that happens?
So right now I'm working on it. I am changing everything from I was a doer for a long time. I was the hire Megan to do it for you type of person.
Yeah.
And now I'm moving into I'm beefing up a membership platform where I teach other people who want to kind of get into this industry, or entrepreneurs who maybe don't have the budget to hire someone to do it. I'm just taking them step by step through all of the processes I have ever done on how to do what I did.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, like this is exactly step for step exactly what I did in Pinterest. Here's a checklist. Here's how you do it yourself. Here are templates that you can have to create your own pins from. All of that. Here you go.
Really?
All of that stuff. Pinterest, Facebook, everything. So I'm building that up so that way it can kind of be more of a membership type thing that I update once a quarter. That way when I have the baby, at the beginning of Q4, I can push out all of those updates and then take 3 months off and just kind of maintain the community.
I like how you said to have the baby and then push out all the updates. Was there a pun intended there?
Yes.
No, that's what you've kind of, I'm very proud of you and very happy for you that you've built this life that allows you to do that. You're now third kid on the way. You're now able to assess what's happening. Hey, I'm not going to be able to be doing as much work, but now I've started training everyone, bringing them along, and now you're starting to get into the puppet master. I call it the manager position, but puppet master sounds so negative. But I digress. That's fantastic to hear. Where can people find this? Is it live currently?
So I'm going to be, right now I have a live version that's free. It's not anywhere near as intense as this, but I'm building it up. I'm actually pushing out an update again for that on Wednesday. But it's at I should have a link on my Facebook page, Abandon the Grind. If not, I'll have a link up there this afternoon. And
Which I
it's
have all
also,
that link. I have all that linked for you. Facebook.com/Megan Renee Live. You'll
yeah,
see that on there.
yeah, and then also abandonthegrind.com. You can sign up for this free subscriber hub. And then the paid portion of that launches July because that was the quarterly update I was launching then was the paid updates. And
Awesome.
then another update will come out in the very beginning of October.
Damn, you're putting in some work, Megan.
I am. It has been a beast to get out
Yeah,
there. But
yeah.
I met some really awesome programmers. I met the owners of the platform that I'm actually hosting my membership site on.
What?
Uh,
You have some of the best networking skills of anyone I've met.
it's been fun and it's been interesting, and I've met a lot of people.
Awesome.
And it's been cool. And I like knowing the people who are running the membership platform that I'm on, and they do really awesome stuff. So
And it probably helps you get support a little bit faster.
does it does, but I love how in sync I am with them. They're also a couple that has two young children, and they did the same thing. They wanted to design their own life, and that's what they came up with.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I do usually ask a couple questions at the end. I didn't have too many Q&As come in, but I also haven't been checking Facebook because I wanted to make sure I was present for this interview or
Okay.
this conversation, not interview. Do you have a book either now or recently that has impacted your life that you recommend that people would read?
Getting everything you can out of, or getting everything you can out of All You've Got by Jay Abraham.
Okay, I haven't
Yeah.
read it, but I can already tell
So
by the
good.
title.
So good. I mean, one of the biggest examples that he has in the very beginning of the book, and he's like, I recommend not doing this because it's about two people who robbed someone. He's like, one person held someone up at knife point, got the guy's watch and his wallet, all the cash out of his wallet, and walked away. The other guy held someone up at knife point, got the watch, got the wallet, and left. Called the guy, said, "Hey, I've got your wallet. Inside of it is your ID, all of your credit cards, and everything. I've not used your credit cards. You can have your ID back. You can have your family pictures back that are in here, and you can have your passport back. Meet me here, bring me $500, and you can have everything back." Guy met him, gave him $500, and he gave him the wallet back. So that guy not only got the amount of money that he would have for robbing him, but used his intuition and got another $500 on top of that.
Great, I'm already in. I got to find
Yeah.
this book on Amazon or somewhere.
Yeah. So he teaches you how to, if you are doing this, here's how to squeeze a little bit more out of it. The entire book is basically based on work smarter, not harder, like what you said earlier. And it teaches you how to, out of everything, job interviews, asking for a raise, all of it. So it's not just for entrepreneurs. If your dream life is working for this company, it teaches you this is what to do in the interview to get everything out of it so that way they want to hire you. And this is how you ask for a raise so you're going to get it.
It sounds a lot like, pardon me, I've been drinking a lot of coffee. It sounds to me like a lot about finding value in yourself and how to present your value in order to sell your value.
Yeah.
That would Dee just said it's the best connector in the world. Great book. So apparently it's making its rounds.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Has there? Shoot, I just blacked out again. Too many good things going on in my mind. With all that being said, do you have any other now over never moments that you chose?
Um,
I love where you went with this. I don't really want to trump that. I feel like that was beautiful and very eloquent in and of itself.
yeah, I feel like that was probably the best one. I mean, when I got pregnant with her, I had another one because I was kind of burning myself out as like a done for you type agency thing where I was kind of solo running it. And then that's when I really pushed into the figuring out how to compress my time, where can I outsource some things, and how can I change the entire direction of my business so that way by the time she's born, I'm kind of hands off.
To relinquish some of the hats so you're not wearing them all, which that's
Exactly.
what I was doing for the longest time, was doing everything, and it just squashes you so quickly. So
It does. It
um,
just, yeah.
with that said, I'm going to wrap up, but would you like to leave everyone with any kind of words or any kind of advice for how they can help achieve any kind of dreams or goals that they're trying to get after?
Um, Honestly, my biggest piece of advice is, again, sit down, reverse engineer what it is that you want, and start. Because if, again, this sounds super cliche and you hear it in the workout world all the time. If you don't start today, a year from now, you would have wished that you had. And that's the best way to put it.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Awesome. I really sincerely appreciate your time coming
Oh,
on the
no
show with
problem.
me. I'm really proud of you and really happy to see
Thank
what you're
you.
doing since the few years that I've known you now.
Same to
I
you.
can't wait. Thank you. I can't wait to come back up to Columbus and hang out and see you with your full family.
Yeah,
Um,
it'll be
but
fun.
with that being said, I really appreciate everyone tuning in today. I appreciate all of your patience with all the different types of ways we project this. We are still working on a format, but I want to say thank you to everyone. Megan, again, Megan Hibar, guys, you can find her at facebook.com/Megan Renee Live. You can also go to abandonthegrind.com and you can see what she's working with there. Just chase your dreams like she did at her now over never moment. You just got to stand up and do it when you're ready. So with that being said, guys, it is very easy to be nice. Don't be an asshole. I'll see you all later. Bye, Megan.
Bye.